let's first talk about the Ravens. Obviously, the Ravens won the division last year. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They ran through the league.
They stomped everyone.
Stomped everyone. And the only really foreseeable issue I see with this team is the potential loss in Marshall Yanda. He did retire this offseason. The talent on this team, the coaching, all the additions that they made in the draft and free agency, it's just a no-brainer that this team is probably going to win the division or possibly even win the AFC. So,
You see, my thing is, though, so the Panthers a few years ago, how they had the year when they went to the Super Bowl and played the Broncos.
yeah, 2015.
Yeah, they had Cam Newton and Greg Olsen, and that was like pretty much a lot of their offense. And not that the Ravens team is the exact same way, but I see a lot of that in the Ravens team where it's like, let's get the ball to our tight ends. Yeah, they have really good tight ends and they have a good backfield, but like outside of Hollywood Brown, I don't like their receivers. At least of last year, it wasn't really like great for him. I think.
Yeah, they are definitely putting a lot on Lamar Jackson's shoulders, and it's going to be tough for him, I think. This is his second playoff loss in a row, and quite honestly, a horrible fashion, in my opinion.
Awful.
I even tweeted during that game, and I said, this guy's got some playoff woes, and he's only played 2 games. I can just see it. He might shock me next season.
You can see the Andy Dalton coming.
I can see the next Andy Dalton coming, and I know I will get crucified by all the Ravens fans for saying that. But he just looks like he doesn't have the confidence during those games.
Yeah,
I went back and watched them, and he just, right off the gate, he throws an interception, and it went downhill from there. Yes, the Titans were hot, but so are the Ravens. They both have pretty much similar play styles. They're smash mouth football. That game just got out of hand way too quickly. So,
I mean, when your offense is as good as the Ravens were last year, and then you go into that game and you just don't perform how everyone thinks or knows you should, especially with the Titans having just like a running back and a quarterback that does he deserve as much money as he's getting? I don't know. But like when a lot of your offense is just your running back and they're just playing smash mouth football running at you, your offense should easily be able to keep up with that with having those tight ends and like the running backs that can catch balls out of the backfield and Lamar Jackson being able to run all over everyone and put those random pirouette spin moves on people like crazy. I just don't understand how their offense didn't perform any better than they did. Because even if Lamar Jackson himself didn't perform well, you'd expect some guys to pick it up somewhere, pick up something. But I guess just Lamar Jackson not performing just kind of kills their whole vibe.
I'm going to definitely do a review sometime on that game because I honestly believe in some sort of, when you start off in the game of football and you just make a critical error, teams usually fall apart. Only the good teams with great leaders like Patrick Mahomes
and the Chiefs
can come back from a deficit. Lamar, he's interesting to me because I think he's definitely got it. He could easily turn things around in the playoffs and in his playoff woes. I saw it watching the Steelers game in week 5, which I'm going to talk about later, but he came back from that game and he won in overtime. Now, did he do it himself? No, it was a lot on his defense, but he was leading this team in the right direction. And that is honestly what set the dominoes for them to just start rolling every team in the NFL. Steelers are a big hurdle.
Yeah.
And we're definitely going to talk about them a lot later on. But for now,
my question real quick, on their defense, like I don't, even watching their games last year, their defense I thought was like not really as even remotely close to as good as their offense was. Their defense just kind of made it to where they could keep them in a game if their offense was like struggling pretty hard. If their offense continued to struggle like through the entire game, like an increased period of time, I felt like their offense at that point it kind of looked like the old Saints, how they would score like 40 points a game and their defense had to keep the other team at 39 points kind of thing, where their defense just kind of was lackluster and kind of trying to keep up with another team, but then their offense had to just outplay everyone. And I think that kind of contributed to their playoff loss a little bit.
Yeah, I think it was more just they were a very aggressive defensive team. They were allowed to play aggressive. They
Yeah.
Ravens offense just consistently put them ahead of other teams early on, and a lot of that was attributed to early turnovers for that defense, early like sacks and other things like that, and that probably hurt them in the long run because the Titans didn't make mistakes. They just played smash mouth football, forced it down their throats, and when they really, really needed that turnover that the defense would give them every other game, they just couldn't get it. They weren't able to produce that.
Yeah, I think the Titans did like the right thing in that game just by not putting it in the air, because I feel like that's a lot of their defense. They like bat balls, and like they're pretty good like coverage defense when it comes to running. I don't think they really have like that Ray Lewis type to just sure up the middle. Like I think that's kind of like missing in a lot of teams in the NFL right now. Is just like that sure linebacker that can just absolutely destroy. Which maybe Patrick Queen out of LSU, maybe
Solve some of those issues.
solve some of that a little bit, or
Yeah,
yeah.
he is a bit smaller, but I think he's versatile enough to be able to help in the run game. I do agree with you. They were more set up for passing, but a lot of that stems from, the other big dog in the AFC being the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to stop or at least slow down Mahomes, whether that's with turnovers, which we did see that in the Super Bowl that they were very close to losing that game, had a couple turnovers here and there, but Patrick Mahomes kind of clutched that one up for him.
Did what he does.
Yeah, did what he does.
I'm thinking maybe like you said, they have the main coverage kind of thing down. If they can just get even just one guy like Patrick Queen, if they can get him in there and kind of get him, like you said, he's versatile, so maybe he can just shore up a little bit of like the tackles on the inside. Because really, I think that's literally the only like rough part of their game. It's just that running. They just need to shut that down. And again, another thing that probably contributes to that is the fact that they get up by a bunch of points early. If they just get one stop, their offense just scores and scores and scores. So they get up early, so they never really have to stop the run. So I think a lot of their guys don't really focus on the run game necessarily, how they attack the run game. They're more of just rushers, like actually just rushing a quarterback, trying to get there kind of thing. So I don't think they really focus on running game a whole lot. So
Yeah, and on top of all that, they did pick up Calais Campbell for literally pennies.
for
I couldn't
absolutely
believe that,
nothing.
and I think that defense is probably going to be better next season. The only reason why I don't have them just straight up winning the AFC is because one of the Kansas City Chiefs, and two, a lot of those runs stem from momentum.
Yeah.
And that Steelers game in week 5 just I could just see it after that they were just steamrolling teams. Steelers are the big dogs in the AFC North, even till this day, I think. When a team in the AFC North beats the Steelers, they get the confidence to go and say, we can beat any of these teams.
You see, I'm not gonna lie. Don't really like the Steelers, but I think they got like this juju thing about them. Like they got an aura around them because when you go to play the Steelers, you know you're gonna have a game. Like regardless of if the Steelers are, let's say it's week 7 and they're 0-6, the Steelers are still gonna come to play you. Like
Yeah,
it's not just a cakewalk. It never is just a cakewalk with the Steelers, ever.
agreed.